UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Isaac Mulindwa Senior, known as Haji Makinawa, freedom fighter for Uganda independence. I'm here to take you through the journey of Uganda independence.
The black, gold, and red flag of the new young state. Uganda is born again, free and independent.
Journey of our independence started way back 1948, when the Baganda we are fighting for the economic independence from the European and Asian community. During that year, those years of 1948, there was a gentleman called Bamuta from Masaka. He was a cotton buyer, and keep that cotton wherever they collected from people, local people who are producing the cotton. They take it to the ginneries, and those ginneries were belonged to Indians. All ginneries in Uganda belong to Indians. So that gentleman was not happy with the way Indians were treating them. One of the price-wise, the manners, and he refused to sell the cotton from the farmers to the Indians. He told the Africans not sell cottons to the ginneries of Indians. And 1948, it was a starting point, an eye-opener for the African Ugandans that they can strike or rebel, then they get what they want. That keep on going on. It's what they call it in number banana 1948, number 8. They call it number 8 or number banana. It didn't go very much, but it opened the eyes of the government, say the central government, protected government, to transfer the ginneries or economy into Africans. But it went very well, and it stopped there. Then 1952, a gentleman called Musazi, he had an idea of independent, Uganda getting independent himself. He formed a party which is called ANC. Along with he was the chairman, and Abu Mayanja was the secretary by then, and others, Dr. Kinuka and other people. When they formed that independence, he demanded independence from the British, but his aim was confined in Uganda. It was not outside Uganda, because Uganda was Bangada and he was Omuganda. It was confined in Uganda. He had members, namely like John Kale, the father of Kale Kayihura. By then, John Kale was in Cairo. He opened up an office of NNC, and he started off, broadcasting in the whole African country to persuade them to have the struggle of independence, to join the struggle of independence. By then, Musazi, he was not happy with that office of Cairo for John Kale. He was not happy with it. He thought perhaps they are hijacking his power to young people of Cairo. He remained in Uganda with his NNC, and the other one was also NNC, but different. The other one those ones were young ones, and he was an old man. They had different thoughts, different ideas, different focus, and his was different as well. So they couldn't marry. After that, as we go on, NNC was not popular in Uganda here because the Bagandas, his fellow Bagandas, think that he'll override Kabaka of Uganda. And the Kabaka of Uganda was the king of Uganda. All Ugandans, they are subject to Uganda. So they could not join effectively with the Musazi. After that, then the central government proposed a referendum for governing this country, and they formed LEGICO, which was headed by DP President Ben Chwanuka. And the referendum, the Baganda didn't participate fully in it because it was headed by a Catholic. And this being a Protestant, Baganda were, most of them, they are Protestant and Muslims. They could not march together because of those religious inferiorities. Now, during that time of LEGICO, Obote came surfaced, and he joined in Uganda National Musazi's party. He joined it, and they went together in the same party. 1958, 59, he jumped out. Obote jumped out from Musazi because the idea of Obote was different and Musazi was different. Obote, he had support outside, and Musazi had some support in Uganda here. But Obote then formed his UPC. And Musazi remained with his cripple national part of his. And then Obote took recruit this Abu Mayanja, Dr. Kunuka, who was in Katwe, and others into a new part of UPC. Then UPC and DP were the main parties in Uganda. We had no alternative to have another party, but those two parties were main parties in Uganda, fighting for independence. I was there. The rallies were held, the DP rallies, the UPC rallies. Then the scenario came between the parties because it was formed into a religious sector, something like that. The UPC people were Protestants, and the DP mainly were Catholics. Now the slogan, they formed the songs on their rallies. Those songs brought the catastrophe. For example, songs of UPC, they say UPC, Obote, what have you, and all, they praise Obote or something like that. And then the TP, they praise Chwanuka, this and that. People started fighting each other. From the rallies, they start cutting the plantation, the bananas of the other parties, and the chaos came there, which was not good. The aim of the parties was to claim independence, but instead they are fighting among themselves. Now the British government was also interested to delay our independence because we are still fighting among ourselves. But we keep on going like that until Obote, his party was a little bit very strong, and the Baganda, the Mengos sector formed Kabaka Yeka in order to bring all Bagandas, those who are Protestant, into Kabaka Yeka, and they joined. When the Ben Chwanuka was in Entebbe as a governor, he invited Kabaka Saidwad Mutesa before independence, to go to Entebbe and discuss with him how the Uganda will be governed through political and support of the people. He invited Kabaka to go to Entebbe, and eventually Kabaka refused. His advisors advised him not to go to Entebbe because the guy there, he's an ordinary man. He can't invite Kabaka as Kabaka is a king, and he says you come. Instead of Kabaka to go to Entebbe, he should bend it to come to Emengo and see Kabaka in his palace. That is the problem. The problem comes from there because of Kabaka refusing to go to Entebbe, and Benituan could refuse also to come to Mengo. They make a part. They couldn't agree with that. After a few months, then these people, the henchmen of Kabaka, advised him to form Kabaka Yeka as a party. After forming the Kabaka Yeka, and all Baganda joined, and Obote was very smart. He had his ideas differently, which the Kabaka didn't know. He was not aware about it. His vision was a little bit far than Kabaka's. All Bagandas, most of them, the Protestants and Muslims, very few Muslims who joined the DP, but most of them were Kabaka Yekas or UPC. Now Obote, smartly, he sent Baraki Kiria to negotiate with the Kabaka when we are going to independence to the voting, to persuade Kabaka. If he gets his share of 21 members of parliament from Uganda, and he will add on his of Uganda, then the Obote will have strength of defeating the DP. That's how DP was defeated. The 21 members of parliament were taken by Obote, and Obote, he has a majority rule. He formed the government in 1962 when we were given our independence by British. Obote had a majority vote, and the DP had no majority vote. That was the end of the DP, not in the people, in the spirit, but in vote wise, because the DP couldn't win the votes. Obote won the vote, plus the 21 bulk of Kabaka's member of parliament. And those members of parliament were included with a gentleman who was Langi, Daudi Ocheng. He looks to be at the lead of the whole thing. Oh, he was a negotiator to marry the two tribes, the Langis and the Baganda. They joined together and they married together, so they formed the government. Now, our independence, I did a very good job. I had a lorry, a bus. Then by then, UPC party was all over the country, even in Uganda. But most of workers, the peasants, were working in Uganda who are not Bagandas. They had to go back to their own place, like Mbarara, Kiyezi, Bufumbira, and Arua, Acholi. They had to go back during those time of voting. And my bus was transporting people from Bugerere, the Bachigas, Banyankore, who were working there for Baganda. There were so many, transporting them back to vote for the UPC. And they went, so I did that job very efficiently. And the people who went in Barara and voted, also UPC won there. In Kabale, UPC won. All parts of that Western UPC won. DP also. DP got some members, but not very few. They didn't watch. Before 9th day, now the British government were very smart. They knew this Kabaka and his subject, they form a big part, and they have to be included, not excluded. So they proposed to give Buganda independence to be performed on 8th October. That is for Buganda. So Buganda got independence within Uganda, 8th October, and they had the independence. But then the following day, on 9th, it was the whole Uganda independence. And the Duke of Kent, along with his wife, they came here to commemorate the independence and hand over the power to the guy who have won the elections, and that was Dr. Milton Obote. Then I was also invited with my wife to Kololo. We attended the celebrations. Well, while I was sitting in my chair, sitting there in the pavilion with my wife, then I saw the flag of Uganda raising up to and the flag of British Union Jack coming down. Obote was given a Bible. In my place, I was there. I was not told, I was there. He was given a Bible and he raised his right hand to swear how he's going to govern Uganda with the dignity, without discrimination, with everything, as you know, of these swears. Then we got our independence. By that time, the colonial time, that was the end of the colonial time. Take you back a little bit. As I'm a freedom fighter, in 1955, Isaac Mulindwa and Agustino Kamya, along with Mary Nkata, we formed a party called UFM, Uganda Freedom Movement. Its aim was to transfer economy from the Indians to Africans. It was not fighting for the independence, but it was fighting for the economic independence, because all businesses, factories, plantations belonged to the Indians. And the Europeans were the governors, the commissioners, on government running our day-to-day business. But the Indians were governing the economy of this country. And Africans, we are peasants, just to grow coffee, cotton, whatever it is, millet, and you sell it to Indians. They give you peanut money. For them, they get richer, and the peasants couldn't get any money at all. So for us, we focus, no, it should be the other way around. Let us go in business, and those Indians work for us. The UFM, all the ladies, including myself, on the old taxi park there, they had a tree which is called Katuba. We used to hold a meeting there for everybody to hear us. We tell all African business people or peasants not to buy from the Indians, not to drink beer, not to travel with the buses, because buses, the UTC was belonged to the government, protected government. So we told them not to board the bus, not to drink beer, not to buy things from the Indians, and the Indians were paralyzed. They couldn't sell anything. Now those Africans, the few Africans came in a business, they started from there. When we got our independence, the first Obote was very good, and the government was running smoothly. And even that government built 21 hospitals all over the country. and sent our students outside to study. The transfer of power was very smoothly and it was running right, but then Obote, his ideas, he wanted to have he invited Kabaka to be a president. That was the agreement, I think, between the Kabaka and Obote. Kabaka to be the president of Uganda and Obote be the prime minister. He invited Kabaka to be the president. Kabaka was so known as the president of Uganda. Then Obote, within a few months or years, he changed his mind. He wanted to grab two things. One, presidency and a prime minister. He sent Amin to Lubiri and he fought with the Kabaka. Kabaka ran away. He claimed himself as the president of Uganda with the full power. He antagonized the whole setup of Kabaka. All Masazas, the districts were changed to divert people to look somewhere. Kabaka was run away to exile in England, and he passed away there. And his body was brought back. In 1971, overthrew Obote. Obote, when he was in Singapore in a conference, Amin overthrew him. And the people really celebrated, including myself in Kampala here, rejoicing Obote was being, because people hate Obote because of decent organizing the Kabaka's government. Now, Amin was also welcomed by that, very good, what. Within a short time, Amin started off killing people. They started running away, killing people, including the Archbishop, John Room and all that. So things didn't go well. After Rule, then Obote came back a second time. People couldn't really match with Obote because they were not interested. He held up a referendum or elections, and the election were rigged. From when the election were rigged, Obote claimed himself to be a president, and the election were rigged. Our president now, Museveni, went into a bush to fight against Obote. He was not marching with Obote because he knew that he was not popular. He went in the bush. We also revived the UFM, which we were formed in 1955. We revived it, myself, Andrew Kaira, and others. We revived it into UFM Freedom Movement. We also started off recruiting young boys, starting fighting. Museveni was fighting in Ruero. We also fighting in Buganda here, Masaka, everywhere. We had our forces, very, very big forces. Then Rutwa came out of the blue and overthrew Obote. When we overthrew Obote, Rufai didn't know what to do because people were the country was in turmoil. People are fighting, killing each other here and there. Ruero is governed by different party, and Masaka, UFM, Funa. We had so many disorganized things. Then from there, I ran away to Nairobi, to exile, from 1981, but running away from Uganda still remain to organize our people and look for the actions and everything for people to fight, still fighting. We fought. When Rutwa overthrew the Obote, he invited all fighting forces who were fighting for Obote to come and join him. Obote was overthrown on Friday. Tuesday, I was appointed from my group in Nairobi to come in Uganda and negotiate with Rutwa. How are we going to marry to each other? I came here. I was welcomed. We had a meeting with the Lutwa. I had a meeting with the Lutwa, myself with the Lutwa, and Bazi Yorar and others. I requested them to give us our headquarters. If they want our forces to join them, to give us our headquarters. They give us Peak Hotel. I invited all people who are not outside, like Kaira was also in Nairobi. He came. I chartered the flight. To brief a little bit, when we didn't agree with the Lutwa ourselves, with all of these freedom fighters, Museveni was not in the meeting, his groups, so we decided of fighting Lutwa and get him off. Lutwa was getting out. President Museveni took over the power. We joined him. The government ran nicely until now. For me, as a freedom fighter, I went back on my farm. When I was there, people appointed me to be the chairman of LC1 of Gombe Sub-County, Bushikiri. This following day, chairman of LC2. The same week, I was appointed the chairman of LC3 of Gombe Sub-County. When I was there, because of where I had wars, there are a lot of skeletons. Government used to send sub-county chiefs and cows and everything. But those officers, whenever they come during those days, they see the skeleton, they run away, they couldn't come back. I wrote a letter to His Excellency President to come and bury these people who are fighting for their own cause. He replied, agreeing that to come and bury those remains of freedom fighters at Gombe Sub-County. As me as a chairman, I prepared everything, and the government supported me. As I have narrated in brief, not in all, my journey or the journey of our independence, I thank God I've seen a lot, and I have seen Uganda where we came from and where we are today. I think people should appreciate with the current government, the current leadership of President Museveni. He brought us and enlightened us differently. But for those who were not there, they don't know how far we had gone through the problems. I pray for Almighty to keep you all going. And if you want to know more, I'm available. I've got more history about our country and our independence. You can make an appointment with me and we discuss on length, or we put things in writing. Thank you for listening.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Come and shine in Blascon Paint and win the Twake edition. Buy Blascon Paint worth 100,000 shillings. Get a scratch card and SMS the code to 7197. Not only will you win instant airtime, but you could take home 1 million shillings daily, a share of 4 million shillings each week, or a brand new motorbike with fuel worth 100,000 shillings. Terms and conditions apply. Blascon, color your world.
On this significant day, the leadership and the entire staff of Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs heartily congratulate His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, the NRM government, and all Ugandans on marking the 61st Independence Day anniversary. As a ministry, we are proud to be the vanguard of nurturing and fostering the rule of law, good governance, and due process for all, which are foundational precepts that underlie a socio-economic and political order for positive transformation and sustainable development. In furtherance of its mandate, the ministry ensures a culture of constitutionalism and good governance for national prosperity, an efficient and effective legal framework, for legal advice and legal services to government and ministries, departments, agencies and local governments, representation of government, its ministries, government bodies in courts of law and tribunals, respect for rule of law and due process, legal protection through civil rights, business enterprises and intellectual property titles, judicious management of estates of deceased persons,